All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the FFL podcast. This is episode 3, I believe, and once again, I am joined with none other than Mio. Mio, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Just had a chicken sandwich for lunch. Got some powdered mini donuts.
Oh, the
So I'm
powder ones
feeling
are really
good. I'm
good.
feeling full. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Nice.
so Mio sent me a really good list today of stuff to talk about, and we're going to get into basically our playoff previews and some of our stuff that happened this year that we were surprised by and stuff like that. So, Mio, why don't you start off with like some of your biggest surprises of 2023?
I'm surprised that LaMarvelous didn't just start rebuilding for no reason halfway through the year.
Yeah. My top one that I had on here was LaMarvelous started winning, and I think that's probably one of the most surprising things. And here's why it's kind of surprising to me. And I'll let you give your take on this too, Mio. But in my opinion, there's two types of dynasty players, and some people are good at towing the line. But so player number one in dynasty is the capital hoarder. Okay, so they look at dynasty as a way to like accumulate the most amount of capital, and so that might mean like going out to get Cole Kmet and Drake London and Michael Mayer and like a whole bunch of young guys with a lot of promise, with a lot of draft capital, and a whole bunch of picks. Obviously, selling your whole team for all the picks in the world, right? And you go out and get every young player you can think of that had good draft capital and stuff. And then player two is the person who plays it more like redraft. And I would say that Jay Neihart does this a lot, where he doesn't really care about next year. Like, he's trying to win today. And so he'll trade draft picks to get the 32-year-old, stud wide receiver. I know he doesn't have Keenan Allen, but example player would be like Keenan Allen or like Mike Evans or someone like that, right? And I think player one, the draft capital guy, eventually always goes back into like, okay, well, it's cool that I have all this money in draft capital, right? But my team is 0-12 and I'm not winning, and this kind of sucks to lose every single week. And eventually that person becomes player two or somewhere more closely aligned with player two. And I think that's what LaMarvelous is doing now, is like, okay, eventually I have to turn this into like W's in the league. So what do you think about all that, Mio?
There's definitely a type of player that, like, as soon as their guy has a good week, they want to flip them to like secure the value.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. The thing is, rebuilding is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to say it's addictive, but like feeling like, okay, yeah, I got a plan, and it's not come to fruition yet, but I got a plan. Like, that's just very, very addictive.
Mm-hmm.
And trading is fun, and
yeah, that's true.
I'm proud of him now.
Yeah,
I think he made some really good moves.
Yeah, so I just pulled up his team, and he's stuck to his process to an extent, still having a lot of young guys. But I think what I'm most proud of him for is he's finally starting to pull in some W's. Like he's 6-7. I don't know if LaMarvelous had a win until this year.
No, he definitely had a win.
Okay. Maybe it was like 1 or 2 wins or something.
Like one win.
Yeah, it might have been like literally 1 win last year. But
he's gonna listen to this, so like he'll tell us.
Oh yeah, he'll let us know. But yeah, I mean, I think he's stuck to the process, and unfortunately has to start Tim Boyle this week. Or no, is Tim Boyle on bye? He maybe has to check him out. Still,
yeah.
But yeah, he went out and got C.J. Stroud recently, and C.J. Stroud's obviously a rookie, but I mean, he's crushing right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about biggest surprises on the season, I thought C.J. Stroud was going to top out at like Kirk Cousins.
I remember us
talking
not necessarily
about that. Not necessarily an insult, but like,
yeah,
he's not like Kirk Cousins is a guy you're comfortable with as your QB2, and Stroud has just looked incredible.
I know,
like genuine MVP candidate.
Yeah, and Houston is like their whole team is like a new fresh energy with D'Amico Ryans, and like Nico Collins looks great, Tank Dell looks great. Like, yeah,
I don't know if like those guys look great or if Stroud is elevating them.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember, like, how many guys are there in the league, would you say, right now, who just, like, elevate everyone around them?
Oh, like maybe 5. And yeah, I mean Stroud's definitely on that list now.
And so, it's very exciting as a football fan.
Yeah.
And I can't believe he fell to, what, 6-7? In our draft.
Oh yeah.
In our
draft
if you
he
do
was
a
like the
redraft
fourth,
now,
was he the third or fourth QB? I don't even remember. He was behind Richardson, Bryce, and was he third QB? Maybe he was third.
He was third because I specifically remember that Hendon Hooker went before Levis.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Looking back now is whew.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. I don't know if Hendon Hooker ever plays it down in the NFL for real, except for preseason, but we'll see. But yeah, man, I'm just all in all, LaMarvelous, good job putting a competitive team together and still being relatively young and having, I think he has future draft picks still. Yeah, he's got 2 first-rounders this year.
He got 2 firsts. I mean, things are looking up.
Yeah.
Now,
LaMarvelous, listen to me, okay? Heed these words, okay? Do not trade. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But, all right, LaMarvelous, listen to me, okay? Real quick. Do not trade CJ Stroud to Derek. I know Derek's going to try and get him from you. I know it's going to happen at some point. Just don't do it, okay? You're better than that. Yeah, trade him to me if you want, but not to Derek. All right, so the number 2 surprise I had on here, and Mia, I will give you the floor to defend yourself, okay? But my number 2 on here was that Mio and Omlinator both bowed to the dark side. They both went full dark side on your boy, and they traded their star players to D-Money. So Mio, what do you have to say for yourself after doing that to me, all right?
As long as you lose, it's all worth it.
What's crazy is D-Money's the reigning champ. I'm not even the reigning champ right now.
Yeah, but you're in my division.
Oh, that's fair. That's a good point. That's fair.
The offer he gave me was so good. Like, well, there's 2 things. First of all, I was just as desperate for that trade as he was. Like, okay, I don't know if I was that desperate, but the offer he gave me, like, if you compare, like, there's a very good chance that if you compare what Lamar does in the playoffs with what Jake Browning, for example, which is a player he could have gotten probably for a third, even if he didn't win the Fab. The odds that that's going to be the difference in a title thing, like in any one playoff game, are actually not that high.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things where, like, he's giving me, like, he wasn't nearly as screwed as he thought he was. Like, he was panicking. And
I know.
I think if you looked at it objectively, like he was tilted, obviously.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of texts from Derek that week.
if he got like Howell, it's like Howell was on the market.
Yeah.
Like, he probably could have gotten Howell for much cheaper, flipped him in the offseason. But, you know, it was one of those things where he was willing to pay up so much just for that little extra percentage. Which, I mean, if it ends up being if he wants to go all in for this year, it's fine. It's just, I'm going to grab that value.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And going forward, I believe more in Burrow than Lamar in our league, but yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I thought it was. I didn't think my chances were that great at the time.
Yeah.
And they're still not that great, but like I've sat down and done like the math, and I don't actually think like there's no games I would have won with Lamar instead of Jake Browning.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what was the 2024 first you got? Whose pick is that?
That was mine.
Oh, so you got your pick back. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, which that might be a lottery. Like that's probably going to be a lottery pick. So it's one of those things. He gave up a lottery pick for next year, for next year's first plus some change.
Yeah.
But,
so he got a 2025 one. Is that your one in 25?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And he got Najee, which like Najee's putting together more respectable games now, but yeah. And then of course, along with
there's a couple like random 2s and 3s in there too.
Oh yeah. And so along with you, Omlinator finally decided to go full tank mode as well. I'm trying to remember who did he get in that trade. I'm gonna pull up the trade.
It was A-Rich.
Yeah,
it was A-Rich. He got an A-Rich. He got Derek's first, which is probably going to be like. I'm expecting that to be somewhere between the 10 and 12.
Yeah. So he got Nico, Richardson, a 2 and 24, a 2 and 25, a 3 and 25, and then Team 8's 2024 1, which I don't know what that. I don't know whose pick that is. And then he gave up Burrow and Hopkins. So, yeah, I mean, he got a lot of pieces for the future. And I really, really liked Anthony Richardson's tape this year so far in the NFL. So,
yeah.
That's probably
one of the biggest disappointments of the year was that he got hurt.
I know.
So early.
I didn't want to see him get hurt, man. That really stunk.
Especially because it's like the thing with him was like he's good, but he needs reps. Like like even if it had been bad, the fact that he was getting reps would have been so useful for his development.
Yeah, I was shocked on how good his first initial snaps in the NFL were. Like he definitely had some weird snaps, but for the most part he was really good. All right, so Omlinator, thank you for bowing to the dark side. That makes me feel great. So excuse me. The other surprise I had, and you can give me your surprise player of the year, Mio, too, but mine is Raheem Mostert for sure. It's so weird to see him. He had an RB26 finish and a 23 finish before, but to see him as the clear second running back in fantasy behind Christian McCaffrey this year is just so weird. I didn't expect him to get as many reps as he's been getting over like Jeff Wilson. Now Jeff Wilson's been hurt, and like Ahmed, and even with Achane breaking out the way he has, like it's just seeing Mostert go bananas is very crazy to me. Like to have this kind of breakout at 31 is such a weird anomaly year. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean he always had the talent. It was just staying healthy.
Yeah,
and now he gave that to Achane.
Yep. Yeah,
good for him. Obviously, the Miami offense makes things easier, which that's the coaching staff's job is to make things easier. Like I'm not going to hold that against them.
Yeah. I was just really like, it's weird to have the Achane breakout and the Mostert breakout in the same year too. It just, I don't know. It seems impossible, but our offense has been crazy in games against mid or bad teams. So we'll see if we can keep that up again against. We have really hard matchups. I don't know if you looked at that, Mio, but like
I have not looked at them.
The Dolphins matchups in the playoffs is freaking me out a lot. We got Tennessee's defense, which is okay, and then you have the Jets' defense, which is really good. You got Dallas's defense, which is really good. Then you got Baltimore. That's the fantasy playoffs for the Dolphins. It's Jets, Dallas, Baltimore. That's like, and the championship final is in Baltimore. So, yeah. So we'll see how Tua and Waddle
I guess the good news for that is that you're kind of expecting Baltimore to be a shootout.
Yeah, I hope, but every time I think we're gonna have that shootout,
you're gonna have to score points.
Yeah, or we're gonna get dumped on our heads. So we'll see which one actually happens. But yeah, I have faith. It's just All right, so those are our biggest surprises of the year. So let's move into the NFC playoff picture. Okay, so I'm gonna let Mio do the first one here because it's involving me. So I'm hella biased, obviously.
Zach gets the first round bye. for some reason. um, man, who's even on Eliminator's roster? So the projected matchup here is Z-Willie against Eliminator.
Mm-hmm.
And who decided to sell all his good players for picks
And still made the playoffs somehow.
and still make the playoffs. Not ideal, but he doesn't have his own pick, so I guess it doesn't really matter how he does this year.
Yeah.
Looking at his roster, like obviously QB2's a problem, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, like Tank Dell and Nico have been good. Zach Moss has been good. I expect him to put up a nice, respectable 150 points.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really much to say. I mean, he's not playing for this year.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's kind of a bit of a wash. His team is just scrappy enough to like scare me though, because like Zach Moss is now. I think Taylor's still out, right? Or is he back?
Taylor should be out for the next couple of weeks. I
then
believe.
AJ Dillon's starting, and he's getting a lot of carries with Aaron Jones on the shelf right now. Obviously, losing Tank Dell hurts a lot, but Nico's been on fire. Njoku's been getting like way too many targets to make me comfortable. He got like 15, 9, and 6 recently. So there's a lot of like scrappy dudes in here. Zay Jones had a good game recently. I'm not super scared, but it's just enough to make me like not think it's a bye week. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then so game number 2 projected is Impervious versus Kansas. So this one is really fun. I feel like this is going to be a really even matchup, like on paper. Impervious has like a incredibly sexy team because of all of the young guys that hit for him. Like Kyron Williams, I believe he got for like $1 or something, $0. Puka Nacua, who he got for I believe $3. Jordan Addison, he got late in the draft. He traded for Sam Laporta recently. Rashad White, who has been getting a lot of work.
If his draft picks, if I remember correctly, were Bijan, which like you don't get any points for Bijan. Like that's just
yeah, it's a free one.
That's a free one. But then Addison hit, then Zay Flowers hit, and now Josh Downs hit. Like all of his wide receiver picks. Got Puka, he hit.
Yeah.
Just a disgusting draft.
Yeah, he literally hit on pretty much everybody. I don't think he had a miss at all. And he's got Zay Flowers on the taxi squad right now. So yeah, just like so his team's really sexy and really young and very interesting in the playoffs here. And then you got Kansas, and Kansas's team. I love you, Kansas, but this team, like as far as sex appeal is concerned, like Impervious has all of it, and Kansas team has like none of it. It's like all the guys.
I'm somewhat surprised.
Yeah, it's like
Kansas
all the guys
has a
no
lot
one wanted.
of and like God bless them, it all worked. I'm somewhat surprised that Kansas didn't make more. Didn't buy at least a little bit at the trade deadline because he has all those seconds.
Yeah,
he has 2 firsts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm somewhat surprised. I'm somewhat surprised that he doesn't. That he didn't try to shop around and upgrade some places, but
yeah. So I mean, he's starting Russell Wilson, who nobody wanted this past offseason. He's starting Montgomery, who nobody wanted this past offseason. Singletary, Chris Godwin, nobody wanted because Tom Brady's done.
I thought I was a genius for pawning Singletary off onto him. I genuinely did.
Yeah, and Singletary's been putting up a lot of points recently. He has DeAndre Swift, who a lot of people were really scared of going into the year. Jordan Love, who nobody wanted going into the year either. Like his team's put together with like a bunch of guys that like nobody wanted, but Kansas was all about it. And he's still got. Unfortunately, he lost Mark Andrews to IR, but he's still got Dalton Kincaid on the bench there. Yeah, so his team's interesting.
I think Impervious is favored for this matchup, but Kansas's team is. I think it's capable of beating
Yeah.
anyone any given week.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
So I definitely think this is probably the second best matchup of the week.
Yeah.
That like out of the quarters, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real barn burner in the AFC.
Oh yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Oh,
we'll get to that.
huge
But
barn
but
burner
I'm
in the AFC.
thinking. But I'm expecting it to be you and Impervious in the semis.
Yeah.
And he's definitely capable of beating you, as he
for sure. Yeah.
as he proved 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've lost 2 games in a row to my division. It really sucks. But yeah.
I mean, that's just the life of being in the hardest division.
Oh yeah. Our division's rough right now. The other thing I was going to talk about too is that Mio has the ability to sneak in to the playoffs instead of Impervious if Darren beats Impervious this week, which is already a tall task, and good luck to you, Darren. I don't even think Darren has a second QB. He's got like Jonathan Mingo in his quarterback slot this week. And then if
Bailey Zappi should start.
Oh, you know what? Actually, he's got Jameis too.
Oh, well, maybe this is more possible than we thought.
I know. Yeah, I just thought about that. He's got Jameis.
Frankly, if Impervious can't beat Darren, I don't think he deserves to make the playoffs.
That's true. No.
I don't think I deserve. I don't think I deserve to make the playoffs because I lost to Darren. So.
And so Mio makes the playoffs if Darren beats Impervious this week, and if Mio can beat D Money this week.
With Jake Browning and CJ Beathard.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, and all of Darren's guys are off of bye now, so yeah. Yikes. Although he's playing Kyle Pitts, so you do have a shot, because I believe Trey McBride is on bye. So never mind. You have like a 100% chance of winning if Darren plays Kyle Pitts.
If I win the tight end slot, I'm gonna take that as a W.
Yeah, that's you. I give you a really good odds. Who's your tight end? It doesn't even matter. But Pat Fryer, all right, we'll take it. Listen, I'll give you $5 if Kyle Pitts beats out Pat Frymuth this week. I will.
I mean, $5 that I wasn't expecting, so I'll take it.
So after all that, it seems like in the NFC, me and you are both projecting it'll be me versus Impervious. I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas won. But Kansas,
yeah, it's
I'd put the odds at like 60-40.
You versus Omninator's like a 80-20, generously. But Impervious Kansas is like, I wouldn't even say 60-40. I'd say probably 55-45.
Yeah. I would say the money line there would be like really close, probably. And then who do you have winning the NFC overall?
Probably you, but I mean, I definitely think overall one of the things I've liked is it feels like this year the entire league has been more balanced. I don't know if you got that sense, but last year it was like, okay, we could all tell from week 6. Okay, this is gonna be D Money versus D Willie in the finals.
Yeah.
And it definitely does not feel like that this year.
I think a lot of that is owed to the fact that like half the quarterbacks in the league are injured right now too. So you have like just a lot more league parity overall too. Like there's not that many superstar QBs that are healthy. You have no Joe Burrow, you have no Aaron Rodgers. I know there's more that I'm forgetting right now off the top of my head.
No Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is out. Yeah, so I mean, luckily we have Kyler back, but yeah, I mean, like all those weapons are kind of nerfed right now too. Like Garrett Wilson, like kind of sucks right now. Devontae Adams doesn't have Jimmy G, but over a bench thing. Yeah, so the whole thing is very, very wild. But yeah, so NFC, that we covered the NFC. Now let's move on to the AFC, which I think has more fun involved in the AFC this year. So.
Oh yeah. The mono matchup.
Yep. So you want to do the first one here?
Yeah. Nice division rivalry. Real D Money against the Marvelous. Two guys who love each other so much they gave each other mono.
the mono matchup of the week.
Obviously, D Money is got a super team, paid out the nose for a super team.
Mm-hmm.
Got all sorts of got a lot of depth, got a lot of good players. Probably the favorite to win overall, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Even like if it was him versus the field, I'm taking the field, but I think he has a better chance than any single person. And then you got Lamarvelous, and Lamarvelous, he can put up some spike weeks. Like, I don't think this is guaranteed at all.
You know what I was thinking about today? That'd be so funny.
I'd put Stroud and Kyler up against anyone.
Yeah,
you know, Brees obviously is a absolute stud. I guess with the fantasy playoffs, who knows what A-Chan will do, but we all know what A-Chan's capable of.
Yeah. I was thinking it'd be so freaking funny if somehow D-Money loses to Lamarvelous in round 1 over some, like, ridiculous, like, Atlanta game where Drake London scores, like, 3 touchdowns or something after all the Atlanta Falcons talk that's been in the chat this year about, like, Kyle Pitts and Arthur Smith and everything. I just think it'd be so funny if, like, Drake London goes bananas in the playoffs.
I think it would be extremely funny if he lost. And he would have won if he had Jake Browning instead of Lamar.
Or
I think that would just be hilarious.
Or how about this? How about D-Money loses because he played Trey McBride over Kyle Pitts, but like if he would have played Pitts has like a 30-pointer on his bench or something. That crap would be hysterical.
Oh man, I'm still a Pitts truther about it after even through it all, but that'd be so funny.
That'd be awesome. All right, so I think we're both picking D-Money in round 1. Sorry, Lamarvelous, I love you, and good job this year. But yeah, so
you know what? Things are looking up. Things are looking up for him in the AFC. Got 2 picks. We're going to talk about the draft sometime later in the show, just a little bit, but hopefully you can bring that team up to the next level next year.
Yep. And so round number 2, or sorry, not round number 2, game number 2 in the first round.
Probably the best matchup of the entire quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think this is like the matchup of week 1 is going to be Jay Neihart versus Kay Anderson. And we obviously need to talk about Jason's team because his team has just been in fuego since, what was it, like 3 weeks ago when all the trades went down? 2 weeks ago, something like that?
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I remember I beat him pretty handily. And, like, you could just, like, see him just, like, getting... Because his team looked just absolutely underperformed. And you could just see him getting bad. He just completely redid everything.
Yeah, so he traded... he did a big trade for Derrick Henry. He got Derrick Henry and Christian Kirk. Traded Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Njoku, Rondale Moore, and a first and third in 2026 to get Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry finally, the last 2 weeks, has went back to OG Derrick Henry with 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games and almost 200 yards. Dak Prescott has been the fantasy MVP since their bye week. He has 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns.
Hot take, but I'd vote him for real MVP.
Yeah. I mean, he probably is gonna. I mean, he might be the MVP favorite now, other than Purdy, right? I think him and Purdy are probably number 1.
I don't know who the favorite is, but like,
yeah,
I'd probably vote for Dak.
Yeah, I'd vote for Dak too. I mean, since the bye, he's just been ridiculous, and so is CeeDee Lamb, obviously. And then you got, I think, did Jason just trade for Kamara too? Am I right about that? Yeah, he did.
This year he traded for Kamara.
Yeah, so he traded Achane, Olave, and a second for Kamara, Mike Evans, Rondale, and Pacheco. He's still starting Pacheco in the flex. Pacheco's been really good too. He has 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
If you want to talk about surprises, Mike Evans, who nobody wanted this year.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted this year. Just
he's still that dude.
Vintage season.
Yeah. Yeah, he's honestly looking better than he has in the last, 3 years. It's just, yeah, Baker loves him, obviously. And then you got, so he traded for DK and Sam Howell. He traded away Purdy Debo and Schultz, which having Purdy would probably be nice, but he's still got Sam Howell who's putting it together a really good fantasy season. I think the thing that's going to do Jason in, if anything does, is not these skill position guys that he has in the top 5 here, like Dak, Henry, Kamara, Mike Evans. It's going to be his QB2, because Sam Howell, while I do think he's been really good, and in our league he's the 4th QB, Sam Howell has those like nuclear good games and nuclear bad games. Like he has a -3 this year. He has an 8-point game this year. He'll put up 40 though, potentially. But like
very classic Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's what Kirk was legendary for. Is he would put up 35-point games left and right, and then right whenever you needed him, he'd throw 4 picks.
Mm-hmm. Like Sam Howell. Just listen to his schedule, okay? Excuse me. So he's got the Rams in Week 15, which that's a pretty good matchup. Then he gets the Jets in New York, and the Jets defense. I know the Jets suck, but the Jets defense is really good. And then he's got San Francisco in the championship. He's got the Niners. All right, and I don't know if I have the stones to play Sam Howell against the Niners in the championship. And then off the bench he's got Will Levis, but Will Levis is good for a solid 4 or a solid 30 as well. And Will Levis's matchup is actually kind of tough in the fantasy playoffs too. He's got Houston twice. He's got Houston, then Seattle, and then at Houston in Week 17. So those are dicey. Those are a little dicey for my skin. Now you got to play who you got to play, but I don't know. I think if something does go wrong, it's going to be like a -5 Sam Howell at San Francisco or something like that. You know, I think that's what it's going to be.
At least for this next week. Fields is Anderson's QB2, and that's. I love Justin Fields, but he is also very capable of giving you a -4.
Yeah.
Of a -4.
You know what's crazy is he got Fields from Jay Neihart also.
And then Anderson's team just obviously losing JT probably for possibly, I don't know. We'll see how JT does.
Yeah.
But like
it sounds like
when Zach Moss playing how he has, they're not gonna rush it.
Yeah.
Back. But obviously Anderson has an absolute murderer's row at wide receiver.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's freaking crazy.
CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Brandon Ayuk.
Have you looked at what CeeDee Lamb's points are since the bye? They're just ridiculous, dude. Like his stuff since the bye week, that's like good enough for like an entire year. He's got like 200 yards in almost like 3 games, or 200 yards like per game. He's got 158, 191, 151, and then he just had 116 on 12 catches. He has, 6 touchdowns since the bye week? Like, it's disgusting, dude.
Yeah, Dallas has sort of figured out that the way you win, you find ways to get your best player the ball a lot. Hopefully Arthur Smith will learn that someday.
Yeah, hopefully Drake London gets targets like that eventually. And Kyle Pitts, but we'll see. But yeah, dude, I think Anderson's team is really, really good. It was good on. I think he just traded for Hawk, right?
Yeah, he traded for Hawk recently. I know. We didn't do the power rankings before the season. We didn't do that show. But I was gonna have Anderson at 3. And the reason I was gonna have him as 3 was number 1, his wide receivers, Hurts and Fields. But the second reason was that he had 4 first-round picks, and he could basically just like upgrade his team at any time.
Yeah. With
them, and he spent 2 of them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's definitely. I think I'd still put him at 3. Like I think it. Like I just put Anderson above Neihart.
I think Anderson is favored over Neihart.
Obviously, with Neihart's new team, it's going to be a lot closer. But Anderson definitely has a team that, like Anderson against Realty Money, I think anyone can win that.
Yep. Yeah, I think Anderson could beat anybody in the field right now.
Yeah, Anderson doesn't have to get lucky to beat anyone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or more lucky than you have to ever be to win in fantasy football. Like his team is that good.
And how crazy is it that he has TDS's first round pick too? Which is like he's 0-13 right now. That's wild.
Yeah. I think the Kansas also has a lottery pick.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Which I'm so surprised. And then Dove has his own pick, which...
Oh yeah, Kansas has Darren's pick.
Dove has his own pick, which, good luck to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's your early prediction between... If the Neihart-Anderson game happens, what's your early prediction?
I think Anderson wins, but... I don't know. It's very, very difficult for me to count out Jay Neihart with how his team's been playing. Yeah. Always gonna I've been in so many leagues over the years with him because he's my brother-in-law, and he always finds a way.
Yep.
To at least make the semis. So I'm going with Anderson, but if I wake up that Tuesday and Jay Neihart's got the trophy, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah. I wrote it down here because I was looking back at some of our old stuff, and so Jay Neihart lost to D Money in 2022. I
remember that. That was the Marcus. Was it Marcus Jones?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, the Marcus Jones.
The guy for New England who was playing on offense and defense, and he just. Jason started him. He scored like 30 points or something.
Yep.
Almost pulled off the upset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Jason also he lost the championship to me in 2021. I think he beat Derek that year. So him and Derek have been back and forth in the playoffs for years now. And Jason's been to a championship. I think he might have been to multiple, but I confirmed it. He's at least been to one. So Jason is always finding ways to stay competitive. When I was talking about the two types of fantasy players, and dynasty players, Jason is definitely that type to try and consistently win, rather than go for the capital.
And he's got the skills to do it.
True. Yeah.
Have you ever been in a league with Jason where he didn't at least make the playoffs?
I can't think of a single time where he hasn't at least been competitive. Even when like I always say it, but like good managers always find a way, and even if you draft a team full of busts, there's always a way out of it. There always is. So I actually have my early prediction. I think Jason will actually make it out of the AFC this year. That's my early upset prediction.
Really?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I'm putting it on the radar right now. I think
man.
Jason's team's getting hot at the right time. I think Dak is ridiculous right now. And
that's true.
I think the way that Jason's going to lose is over like a Sam Howell, Will Levis game, but I'm just predicting that I just don't think it's going to happen. And I think he's going to win. So I
think he's going to win it all?
I think it might be me and Jason again in the championship is what I think. But that's my early prediction. I think some fluky thing's going to happen to D-Money. I know he has a super team, and this is just my opinion, okay? But Mahomes is not Mahomes right now. McCaffrey's going to be great. Saquon is in like actual hell with Tommy DeVito. Keenan Allen is going to be great. Cooper Kupp has been in like this really banged up, funky thing this year. Like he hasn't been Cooper Kupp. Tyreek is ridiculous. Kyle Pitts or Trey McBride, take your pick there. I think Trey will be good. And then Josh Jacobs hasn't exactly been Josh Jacobsing recently. He had a couple good games recently, but like not. This is like if this team was on paper last year, it would be a lot stronger than it is this year. Is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see. I think there could be any given week, right? Fantasy is a 1 week at a time thing. Fluky things happen. I could definitely lose round 1 too in a really, wild way to Omninator. So, but that's just my early prediction.
And you can definitely lose to Impervious or Kansas.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I do definitely think that D. Willie, Impervious, D. Money, J. Neihart, K. Anderson are like your 5 contenders, and the other 3 would need to get lucky multiple times.
Yeah. But I do like that we have like 5 actual contenders. It's fun this year.
Oh yeah.
So, do you want to talk about jersey predictions? Who we think we'll get for jerseys here, based on who wins?
I'll need to look at everyone's roster. I do think it's extremely funny that last year D Money got a CMC jersey right before the Niners became the most hated team in the entire city.
Yeah, that is so
continued to be so for like a year straight, and it shows no signs of letting up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead going to Philly in a CMC jersey. I'd tell you that for free.
But you know what? CMC's a beast, so I get it.
All right, so I'll give mine, and then you can pull up the teams if you want. But first of all, who do you think that I would pick if I won this year? I'll tell you if I have a top 3. I haven't decided yet, so I'll tell you if they're in my top 3.
Okay.
So
I think is ETN in your top 3?
No, ETN is not in my top 3.
Really? I'm just assuming you have no Dolphins players, because that'd be kind of...
Yeah, no Dolphins players. I actually already have a Waddle and Tua jersey, so I don't need either of those. So yeah. I will say
you should get a Josh Allen jersey. You should get a Josh Allen jersey, but because he's in the division, I don't know if you will.
I know that's it. I've contemplated that a lot, because really I do owe a lot of my success to Josh Allen, because I got him in the 11th round of the startup draft, which was just like, this was right before he had that QB8 finish, and everyone thought he couldn't throw after his rookie year, and I just took him because he could run. That was the only reason. And
I need a third QB.
Yeah. So I'll give you my top 3, because why not? So my top 3 right now is Amon-Ra. I feel like I owe it to Amon-Ra, because I didn't believe in him even after his ridiculous rookie year. And I still didn't really believe him in after he played pretty well in, 2022, until I got further along, and then I traded for him from you. And now Amon-Ra has been a staple of my team. So and he's just awesome. He's fun. So Amon-Ra is up there. Travis Kelce is the second one, because Kelce is the biggest advantage, and he's Travis Kelce, right? Like there's nothing else to say.
Walk-in fantasy Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean he's first ballot Hall of Fame in fantasy and in real life, and yeah. And then my third one,
I think there was some stat. It was either last year I saw this. It was one of those things for like 4 or 5 straight years. The best chance you had of winning a championship was drafting Travis Kelce in the first round, because it was just that big of an advantage.
It is, yeah. Well, especially with Andrews.
Like, obviously,
yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, that doesn't matter as much in a league like this where you're starting 20 guys. But
yeah, I think he's Travis Kelce. And then my third one, I am considering it, even though it feels wrong against my Dolphins' heart, but it is Josh Allen. Josh Allen's number 3. There's no way I have a fantasy championship or this long run without Josh Allen. And the fact that I paired him with Diggs now and everything, like, yeah. And so
I think you're a good enough player that you could have found another QB.
Probably, but Josh Allen's been the QB1 3 times. He's just,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my 3. Let's go to Impervious.
No Gibbs.
Yeah, no, yeah,
You
I
still
feel-
don't believe in Gibbs?
I believe in Gibbs. I don't know if I believe in Dan Campbell using Gibbs. That's the hard part. But I think Gibbs is
That's
awesome.
fair. That's fair.
So
That's fair.
Impervious's team.
I don't actually know anything about Impervious, so I don't know which of his players.
So I just know he's a huge Eagles homer. That's really the only thing you have to know. So he might legit like get a Dallas Goedert jersey or something. But I'm gonna assume that he's gonna go based on like who helped him win. And I think he'd probably go with Justin Herbert.
I think everyone loves Herbert because he's great, and because the Chargers always choke, so no one sees him as a threat.
Yeah, I think like there's something about drafting a guy and then he becomes everything you wanted and more. And Impervious took Herbert at the 109 when like nobody wanted Herbert that year because I took Tua. Someone took Burrow 105 or 6. And there was another.
That was CEH. Jason got the first 2 picks, and he took CEH and CD.
And CD, yeah.
One of those worked.
One of those was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah. Yeah, the CD pick was great. But yeah, so I could see him going Herbert, or I do think there's a world where he just does Bijan because Bijan's like awesome, and he drafted Bijan too. So yeah, that's my predictions for him. And then let's do Kansas jersey prediction. Kansas is tough. He's a
I don't.
Saints fan, but he doesn't really have. He doesn't have Kamara. And who else would you even get from the Saints?
I mean,
he's got Michael Thomas on IR. You could get a Michael Thomas jersey.
I mean, he talks so little. We don't know anything about him.
I know. Mysterious.
Okay, so he's not gonna. I'm just gonna assume he hates all the other NFC South teams.
Yeah.
So no Godwin. I don't know.
I feel like maybe he goes with Jordan Love. Because Jordan Love's been really big surprise for him.
Probably Love or I don't know, maybe Swift. Maybe he'll go defensive player. Take like.
Oh yeah, maybe. Derwin James would be a cool jersey.
Yeah, Pickens will leave. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Kansas is a. I have no idea. We'll do Omninator for fun, even though we don't fully believe. I think Omninators is pretty easy. He's a Eagles homer, so he'd probably want an Eagles jersey. But I'm going to assume that people aren't doing just homer jerseys. I think Omninator probably would just get a Tank Dell jersey because that'd be fire. Tank Dell's so fun and electric, so that's probably what I think he would do.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, I mean he's awesome. Like, why wouldn't you?
He might do Stafford. But I think Tank Dell's a lot more likely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Anderson. Oh, this is tough. So Anderson's a Niners fan.
He's got so many studs on his roster.
I know this one's really hard.
Other than he's probably not going to do Devontae Smith.
Yeah, or Tommy DeVito. He does have Tommy DeVito on the taxi squad.
Or Hurts.
Maybe. Does he do CeeDee Lamb? I don't see. I think he.
No way.
Like, he probably hates CeeDee Lamb because of the Niners Cowboys
he's
stuff.
Definitely taking Ayuk.
Yeah, if he goes homer, he'll do an Ayuk jersey for sure. If he doesn't go homer, does he do Jalen Hurts? I don't know, because he probably doesn't like the Eagles or the Cowboys. I don't know.
The more I look at this roster, the more I'm like, okay, I'd take his jersey, jersey.
Yeah, I know. I think I'll do my prediction and say he'll go Ayuk or Jalen Hurts. That's my prediction.
I'm going to go with Hawk. He also might be wild enough to do Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton would be fun. That'd be a cool jersey. And then let's do Jason's. I know Jason very well, so this
He might do Trey Lance.
Yeah, he might. Yeah. I feel like Jason. I know that he's a closeted. So I don't actually know if Jason has a Dak jersey. So he might just get a Dak jersey off of the win. But
I'm gonna go with DK or Henry.
I know that he's a huge, like his second favorite team is the Seahawks. He's always loved Marshawn Lynch and DK, and Russell Wilson. And,
he might get a Ken Walker then.
Yeah, that's true. I could see him doing Ken Walker too. So I think probably Dak, Metcalf, or Ken Walker. Although a Taysom Hill jersey would be funny. Jason loves Taysom Hill, so that'd be a really funny one to get. Getting it for free, right? So, yeah.
Since week, I saw this on Twitter yesterday, but since week like 5 or 6 or 8 or something like that, Taysom Hill has averaged 3 more points a game than Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I played Taysom Hill in a redraft league. So, all right, D-Money. I feel like D-Money for the memes might get a Kyle Pitts jersey after all the talk in the league.
Giant middle finger to the rest of the league.
Yeah,
he would deserve it. And he would deserve it.
Yeah, he might do it. Or Trey McBride would be funny to get a Trey McBride after all the talk of him too. He has CMC.
Does he love Saquon?
I can see him being
a guy who loves, like, not as like a, I'm never gonna trade this guy, but as like I like this guy playing. He might do Keenan Allen.
Yeah, he's always been a Keenan Allen guy. I could see that.
I'm gonna go with Keenan Allen or Kyle Pitts.
Okay,
One would be a lot funnier.
I'm gonna say for the memes, he's gonna do Kyle Pitts. That's what I think. That'd be really funny. And then let's do LaMarvelous too. I think if LaMarvelous won after these trades he did, he'd probably get CJ Stroud. Because if he wins, it's probably going to be on the back of CJ Stroud.
That's true. I don't know.
It's hard to see who he actually likes because he trades everyone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know he's a Ravens fan. But that's as far as I know. I think he might do Chris Olave
He's very
too.
fickle. He's very fickle.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, Marvelous, but you're very fickle.
Yeah, I think I'm voting Stroud.
You might do Kyler.
Yeah, I could see him doing Kyler too. Kyler's awesome. He's on his bench right now because he's on bye, but yeah. All right, so that's our jersey predictions there. So next we have a really cool offseason coming up. So I guess we can do a little offseason preview. So after all the chips fall, Mia, what are you most excited for the offseason?
Well, I watched the Pac-12 championship the other day. Michael Penix looked good.
Yeah.
Looked good, but my God, Ron Odunze.
Yeah, that dude looks awesome.
He's always open, and when he's not open, he still wins.
It was disgusting to watch.
Isn't he pretty? He's pretty big too, right? He's 6'3". Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's gonna be a lot of fun.
There's a lot of go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I'm really, really excited for this class. I know we're gonna say that probably every year as it gets closer. But yeah, is Penix coming out this year? For sure.
I think he's a senior.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, him and obviously someone's gonna get Caleb Williams, and he's probably gonna go number 1 in the NFL draft and in our draft probably, unless Harrison does, which like to me, like I know I probably can't get Marvin Harrison, but dude, like Marvin Harrison is gonna be like he's one of those guys where I'm a big situation guy, but I literally don't care what team he goes to. I would take him like in the top 2 easily. I might even take him over Caleb Williams. Like that's how much I believe in Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think that he's definitely the safer pick.
Yeah, he's probably the safest pick in the entire draft.
Yeah,
but there's so many good wide receivers in this class, like Keon Coleman from Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Like huge possession guy. What's his nose from LSU has been going off, him and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is interesting too.
So we're probably gonna have at least 2 top 5 quarterbacks in the real draft, and if they go top 5 in the real draft, they're probably gonna go top 4 in our draft.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll see how it goes, but there's a lot of wide receivers. Apparently the running back classes, there's no first round guys like at all, but there's like 6 second round guys. So
yeah.
And then obviously in our draft, there's running back scarcity is real, so those guys always get pushed up. I really think in the second round we're gonna get there's gonna be a lot of good wide receivers in the second round this year, I think.
Yeah, I think that it's gonna be a sweet class. I think it was probably just a lot of like I'm really excited to see the next guys come in type stuff, but yeah, I think that I just can't wait for the draft. This is gonna be awesome. I'm excited to see who falls to me at like the 111, 112, depending on how this postseason goes.
With the 1-8 after you get upset by Omlinator.
For the 108, if I lose to Omlinator, I can trade more of my guys to get Marvin Harrison. So we'll see how that goes. But and then so the last thing I wanted to touch on is rule changes. So Mio, do you want to tell me again what your rule changes were? Because I low-key forget that you proposed to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one was to move the trade deadline back, because right now it's at week 12. Mm-hmm. I figured we could either move it to week 14, which would be the start of the playoffs,
right,
or maybe just scrap it entirely. I don't know how much of a.
Yeah,
I do know there's a lot of people who are low-key very happy to have this section where we're not getting trade offers.
Yeah.
But I do think it should be moved at least to week 14.
Yeah, I think week 14 makes sense. I've kind of just always had it where like I don't know about, I know there are some dynasty leagues that let you trade until like literally like there is no trade deadline at all. I don't know how I feel about that, just because then as soon as you're knocked out of the playoffs, you're like, okay, here, like make your super team even more super, because you can't win anymore. I don't know if I love that. I think week 14 makes sense though, or like week 13 or 14 would be fine. I do think week 12 is a little early. So yeah. And then what was the other one?
The other one was, so for those of you who aren't aware of the intricacies of scheduling, everyone plays both the other teams in their division once, which is 4 games. And they play everyone else once. I'm sorry, you play everyone in your division twice, which is 4 games. You play everyone else once, which is 9 games, which gets you to 13 games in a 14-week season.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's the question of, okay, so what are we going to do with that 14th game?
Yeah.
And the possibilities, I've thought through them. One is like just give everyone a bye, which I don't think anyone wants.
Right.
The other thing, I don't even know if this is possible, but you could do like week 14, everyone plays everyone.
Oh,
and the top 6 scores going to win. But I don't even know if that's possible in Sleeper.
Yeah, I don't know either. We might have to, if we did something like that, we'd probably have to like manually do it. Like on some back end stuff.
But I figured the best thing to do is either have everyone do it like the real NFL, where you basically play the person who finished. Like, if you finish third, you play a third place team in the other divisions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you finish second, you play a second place team from last year. And, like, you could do it so that you always play the team in the other division in your conference. Or you could do it, like, cross-conference, and it just switches every year.
Yeah.
So that was basically the proposal, was to set it up like that.
Yeah, so right now the Week 14 game is like just a random like extra rival game.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we're gonna try and find a way to make the Week 4. I know we can find a way to make it more interesting, like the Week 14 game being like something where you either play like the first place teams play each other in the first round or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out, but yeah, we'll figure out a way to make those more fun. And then the other thing I was thinking is this offseason I'm going to spend more time looking into the intricacies of our scoring and stuff. I did a deep dive like 2 years ago and ended up nerfing the quarterbacks a little bit because of it, because I did a chart and quarterbacks were like up here and running backs and wide receivers were like down here, and I was just trying to get them closer. I still want quarterbacks to be the most valuable scoring like position in our league because they're the most important on the actual NFL field. And I've always hated that. If you want to know why I would do Superflex, I've always hated the idea that quarterbacks are like super disposable in one quarterback leagues in fantasy when they're by far the most important piece on an NFL field. It just always felt a little weird. Like you go to the wire and see Aaron Rodgers sitting there, but he'd be the most important player on any team in the league except for like 5.
I like Superflex generally because it forces you to have opinions on these like it forces you to have a Sam Howell opinion.
Yeah.
It forces you to have a Jordan Love opinion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Derek Carr's and Jameis Winston's and all that stuff. Yeah, because like those players are really important in the NFL, which is why I feel like they should matter in Superflex. I understand that people get annoyed with like QB hoarding and all that kind of stuff, and I've tried to figure out some measures to make that not happen. But yeah, so I know for one thing I'm going to be trying to rework IDP scoring and making sure that we don't have like the weird crap with assisted tackles being worth more than solo tackles and stuff like that. So I'm going to go through all that.
I do think having IDPs worth scoring be higher. I do think that lends itself to upsets. So I don't know how many upsets you necessarily want.
Right.
But generally, I think having higher IDP scoring is more upsets and lower IDP scoring is less upsets.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and so I did nerf the IDP scoring from where it was already. But I'm gonna look at like, I know some people are like, well, I don't want IDPs in the league at all because like I just want to think about offensive players when I think about fantasy, and IDPs are really fluky, and like I think there's pro and con arguments to both. But what I'm really trying to do is just make the league as fun as possible and also like as deep and like analytical as possible too. So that's why I kind of like I like it whenever I'm watching a game and I'm like, oh crap, Brian Branch got a pick today. Like that's really awesome for me. And like otherwise defensive plays don't matter to you. So
I won a game in redraft the other day. I think not this past week, but the previous week because Josh Metellus just went nuclear.
Yeah.
It was like me and this other guy, and like it was just, and the lead changed like 3 times because he had like TJ Edwards, and TJ Edwards got a pick and he took the lead. Then Josh Metellus forced a fumble and I took the lead, and it was just back and forth the whole game. It was wild.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun sitting on the edge of my seat, like praying that Montez Sweat gets a sack. Like it's just so funny to be in situations like that. So, but yeah, I do want to like make sure things are balanced and make sense. Even if we're gonna have it be a little more fluky with IDPs and a little more weird with having quarterbacks that suck play like Tim Boyle, you know. So yeah, so that's kind of stuff that I'll look at over the offseason too. I'll just like examine what I think might need changed. And of course I'll put all the changes and proposed stuff in the league chat, and we can all vote on everything too. But
has anyone else proposed anything to you? Just out of curiosity.
I think Jason says something to me in person, but I don't remember what it was, so I'll have to ask him. But yeah, I'm really good at forgetting stuff like that, unless I put it in my notes in my phone.
All right.
So yeah, I'll ask him. I think there was something. I can't remember what it was though. But yeah, I'm gonna look at stuff like that over the off season and get ready for draft season and stuff. Oh, the other thing I was thinking is I'm putting the odds at like 90% chance that this year, for the rookie draft, I'm gonna pay for like a party room at either round 1, which is in Lancaster, and that's like a huge arcade and like sports complex thing.
Oh, nice.
And so I will pay for the room. You guys don't have to worry about that part of it. You'll have to pay for like your own food and stuff if you come. So I'm thinking we'll do like a
Saturday after the draft, right?
Yeah, it'll be the Saturday after the draft. And what I'm thinking is we'll do like a party room. Like we'll get there around like noon or maybe a little later than that, like 3, and then we'll do the draft at like 5 or 6, so we can like hang out for 3 hours and like mess around and play arcade games and stuff. So either we'll do it at round 1 or I was thinking we could do it at Dave and Buster's. So I'm gonna try and figure out one of them. But I think this year I'm gonna do like a big party thing.
That'd be May 4th, 2024.
Yeah, May 4th. Yep. So mark it off in your calendars. But yeah, Mio, any more thoughts?
I think this has been a really good year for the league. Been fun to play with you all. Really hoping that either Impervious, Anderson, or Gene Hire win, so that we can have a.
Well, every year we have a new champion.
Yeah, and I hope that continues. I hope that continues.
Well, I don't know if I hope that continues or not. I think that I would, I think Club Penguin should win this year. But, I would respect it. You know what I kind of want? I kind of want to see a LaMarvelous title run someday. And I kind of hope it happens after he beats D-Money. That'd be really funny. But
I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to have to happen.
Yep. But all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope you enyed talking about everything.
If Marvis makes a run this year, I don't think we are ever going to hear the end of it.
Oh no. Well, especially if he beats D-Money to go on the run, it'll never end. Because right now it's all like I'm the champ, so it'll be really funny.
How many ring gifs will get posted? Oh man. You know what? You do you, Marvelous.
Just
don't let the haters get their way.
Just don't trade CJ Stroud unless it's to me. All right, just please. But all right, yep. I hope you guys enjoyed the pod. This episode will be out really soon. So, see ya.
All right, see you everyone.